I am pleased to be here, and I hope I'll be a blessing, and in return I'll take some blessings in our communication, in our fellowship. Shall we have our Bibles open to Matthew chapter 5. In the year 2012, if you remember, there was a ghastly incident that took place in Delhi, and a young girl was raped, gang raped by a few young men. It wrecked the nation's sentiments and emotions. The result of it, there was a new rule that came in India, a Juvenile Act, which brought the years of juvenile justice from 19 years to 17 years after a debated period of 3-4 years. And that was passed on December 31st and came into activation in January, on the 15th of January. If you remember the incident, December, a young girl was raped. She was taken to Singapore, where the police spoke to her, the media spoke to her, the advocates spoke to her, politicians, everybody. And the result of it was that she died after some time. And when the media went to ask her father and her mother, they only wanted one thing: we want this man, or all of them, to be hanged to death. If you take backwards, rewind, go back to 1999, January 24th, there was an Australian who was burnt alive in Orissa, along with 2 of his sons, pre-teen boys. I was there talking to Gladys Staines. Inch by inch she was telling the incident. The day next, she didn't go. She and her daughter were back at home in Orissa, Baripada, near Calcutta, on the border of Orissa and West Bengal. This man, Graham Staines, was there. They just finished a 2-day meeting. It was a Friday night or Saturday night. And the man who was watching it from a distance of this door, he speaks to me that they couldn't do anything. And the father was burnt, 2 children were burnt. The nation was waiting to hear what Gladys Staines would speak, and she said, "I forgive them because Jesus forgave them." Can you contrast the incidents where a young girl was raped? She didn't leave behind an orphan. She didn't leave behind a widow. She had a long time to speak to the media, to the police, to her parents, and interact and whatever track. So there was a long time from her death and the incident. And the result was, her parents wanted those people who raped her to be dead. I'm not trying to downplay the rape, neither am I escalating the death of Graham Staines and his sons. That man left behind a widow. That man left behind an orphan girl. There is no word semi-orphan in the dictionary, my dear friends. If a father is dead or mother is dead for a dependable child, it is orphan. Semi-orphan doesn't happen. So Graham Staines left behind a teenage girl, an orphan, and the world, when it waited to hear what she had to say, she said, "I forgive." Can you contrast the incident and the gravity of the situation? And when the world waited, one mother said, "Kill him." One widow said, "I forgive." This is the world that we are living in. That is the answer the world is waiting from us. I'm asking about 1 second, I'm not able to adjust this one. I'll move.
When I read a hand mic, is it better?
You'll be fine. Okay. This is what we are expected to. But how does that happen? Just for a line that is cut, just for a vehicle that just comes, we know who we are. They don't need to know, we know who we are. As we pursue understanding what the word has to say, I want you to change the way you are seeing the things. When we change the way we are seeing the thing that we are looking at changes. If my son plays in my courtyard and does some littering, I don't mind. But if my neighbor's child does it, both of them are kids. If my son's litter is not bad, the neighbor's litter also should not be bad. But the difference is in my seeing, how I see the world. We are more relational than cause-based. अपना है तो चले जाए, नहीं तो okay, it's a problem. Shall we close our eyes, ask God, Lord, I'm hungry for your word. Can you speak to me from a dimension that I've never heard? Can you speak to me? I'm not talking about my ability to give you the meditation in a different dynamic angle. As you are, so am I seeking, asking God to speak to me. Father, speak to us, Lord. That's all. We are here to listen to you. In Jesus' precious name. I want to paint a brief background so that we will know where we are and that we can be going together on the same page. I'm going to come to the passage that was given to me. 1 John chapter 1 verse 5. But before that, there is a verse. Can we open to that and come back to Matthew 5th chapter? And can somebody read for me? Chapter 1 verse 4.
In him was life, and the life was the light of all mankind. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness...
I think it's 1 John.
1 John.
1 John, chapter 1, verse 4.
This then is the message which we have heard and declare unto you, that God is light, and in him is no darkness at all.
Verse 4.
And these things write we unto you, that your joy may be full.
The joy may be full. This is the purpose. Apart from we being a light to the world, it's we being full first. Some time back, the National Geographic Channel has interviewed a man by name Dr. Raphael McCollum. He's a Jew. So he has invented a new property of marijuana. You know marijuana? Is it marijuana? Grass, pot, ganja? So he has found out that there is a new property to this drug, and he named it Anandamine. Can you understand a Jew naming a drug with a word which, does it ring a bell in your brains? Huh? This is purely Jewish, Indian. And I see you all smiling. The ganja gets a new name by name Anandamine. And the National Geographic was interviewing him, Dr. Raphael, and said, why is that you have gone to a word that is not there in Hebrew language? You know, he said, it's a Sanskrit word, and Anand means what? And he said, how is that you have taken a Sanskrit word? Is it that you don't have a word in Hebrew? He said, no. In Hebrew, that is, in the language of the Old Testament, there is no word for happiness. Surprised the National Geographic continued the interview. He said, we don't have a word for happiness, we have a word for joy. Indian philosophy talks about happiness. That which, I wonder how many of you have tasted what marijuana is. I have done that in my college days. It gives you a high, drops you down, then you need to have another high, another down, another shot. It happens with every drug, every drink. So what happens in a Jewish language of Hebrew, that is joy, the word joy comes from a word shimcha. Simcha comes from another word called zamek, which means it's a spiral. And happiness in Sanskrit you got me? It goes and comes down. It goes and comes down. Goes and comes down. You go to a temple, it's high. You do a puja, you're high. But in the biblical pattern of a joy, it is a ongoing, never ending. It's not even a cycle. It's not even a graph. It is a spiral. I want to tell you, my friends, this is the joy of studying the Word of God. If you have read any of the Indian Indologists, if you study where our languages come from, Sanskrit is the mother language of all the languages in the world, most of them. But if you see, अगर संस्कृत सब language का बाप है, Hebrew is the baap of Sanskrit, and that is what the Old Testament is all about. Sanskrit does not have anything to do with joy. It only gives you happiness, a short-term, temporary one that comes down. And here we have a joy that goes on and on. I want you to understand a brief background of what we are studying in the scriptures, and I wanted you to open that chapter 5 of Matthew. I'll explain to you in much elaborate understanding, but before that I just wanted you to get connected with Gladys Tank's statement that she could have raised a havoc in Australia and taken the Indian government into whatever kind of result she wanted, but she did not. And if you see in the 5th chapter of Matthew, you get the whole of the Bible in that, whole of Christian life in that, past, present, future. So I just wanted you to open that. I'll get back to that. I want to briefly, I think I'll take that in mind. Hello, check. Now, before God created Adam, where was Adam? Let's go quickly, and I want to make it interactive so that we can rush forward and get to the other things. Where was Adam before God created him? He was in the dust. Anybody else? Adam. Where was this picture before it came onto the board?
He was not in the dust. He was in God's mind.
He was nowhere.
Right, simple. Right? It was not in the board. It was not in the chalk. It was in my mind before I drew this. Right? So same case with Adam. Adam was in the mind of God. So before he came onto the ground, he came Where was he? He came from the mind of God. Number two, when Adam was watching, God was watching Adam, how was he looking? Whose image? Let me give you another clue. Simple, God's image. So the first fact is that he came from the mind of God. He came with the image of God. Beautiful. And next thing is, he has breathed into him Jiva and Atma. So Adam came to life and he's standing now. So behind him are three more. That is Jiva and Atma. This is the foundation that I want to lay before we get into the next sessions. So when this is the pattern in which God made, and when God made Adam, his understanding was that man is spirit, God is spirit, and he has to in touch with the spirit only. So for example, I take a very beautiful, very expensive phone from here back to India, and I don't put a SIM. You think it would work? It would not. It needs to have a SIM and get connected to a network. I can have a 100 rupees phone and still have a SIM and have it connected to a network, and it still does work. It doesn't matter how costly my phone is and where from it is. So in the same way, man has to be connected to God in the spirit, and so God is spirit, he connects only to the spirit. Networks don't recognize the quality of the phone. Networks only connect and recognize your SIM. Do you agree with me? So this is the condition. So when God communicates to the spirit, the order in which God made man in Eden was that the spirit would communicate to the mind would decide, and it would be communicated to the body, and the body would operate. It so happened that one day there was another communicator. He came saying that, hey, can you see the fruit? It is good to look at and good to taste. So it came externally, communicating to the eyes and to the mouth. So what he did, body cannot do anything without the combination of the mind deciding. So he said, or whatever, it said to the mind, what about this? He said, na king teen dilo, mera kya hai isme? He said, no, you're going to know the good and bad, intellectual. Yeah, I'm fine. And so the mind responded to the body, and they together took the fruit, decided to eat. This is what was happening inside Adam and Eve. Hello, it's not on the external. And so the day Adam ate the fruit, what did God say that will happen to him? He would die, and he died. And ever since Adam and Eve, after they bore children, Cain and Abel, whoever came along, you think that they had body, they had the mind, the soul. Did they have the spirit? Yes, they had the spirit, but the spirit was a dead spirit. So they were born, but the spirit was dead until Jesus Christ came, fought with the enemy, brought life to this being, but this man did not come to life. The fundamental thing is, until this person, these two, make a decision that we will respond to the knock of Christ. Because it says in Revelation 3:20 that, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man opens the door, I will come into him. And so, unless this man responds and receives Christ, this spirit would not come to life. This is the background. This is the connection. This is where we are all. I believe we are all saved. Let's go quickly. After this encounter that we have, that's when we begin to come into a different dimension and a relationship with Christ. Can you open your Bibles to Exodus chapter 2, verse 10.
When the child grew older,
This is about Moses. Yeah, go
she
ahead.
took him to Pharaoh's daughter and he became her son.
Mhm.
She named him Moses, saying, I drew him out of the water.
11, verse 11, sister.
One day after Moses had grown up,
Yeah.
he went out to where his own people were and watched them at their hard labor.
That's right, thank you. The Jewish scholars say that Moses grew twice. Did he grow twice? It simply says that in the verse 10 it says he grew up in the palace, and here it says he grew up with his people. Now, this is where our connectivity comes with the background that I was trying to paint. Once we come into the presence of God, respond to Him, and our spirit comes to life, that's when we become complete in Christ. We become a new creation. We completely become somebody who is born to the kingdom of God. Now, may I ask you, what must have been Adam's age in his stature when God created Adam? What must be, he was of some stature. Maybe he's a toddler, or maybe he's a, do you agree that he was quite enough, big enough to understand? So there was one age that he had, or some stature that he had. What was that stature's age? Or was he only one day? Sixth day God created him. Was he only one day? Let me tell you. Consider example. Mikey, when you say Mikey? Say 18. Okay, 10. Okay, let's put it adult guy. Now, a person who is grown to an age of 18, his condition is this. He has not known Christ. But at 18, he receives Christ and he becomes this. Just go with me and you'll understand this. So when this comes to life, it's when his spiritual life begins. Otherwise, his spiritual life was dead. Because in Ephesians it says, while we were yet sinners and dead in our trespasses, Christ came. So, when he has resurrection in the spirit is the day he is alive in the spirit, day one. Got me? What is this man's XYZ guy's name? Whatever age. What is his age? Physically? Spiritually? Can these two match? It matched with me. I was saved at 18 and it matched with me. It should match. Spiritually I was one day. Physically I was 18. Did you get this? That means we have two birthdays in the general way we speak. My spiritual birthday and my physical birthday. That's what was exactly happening in Eden. We cannot tell what age God made him. So I am like you. I am silent where the Bible said it about Adam's age. But he had one day with God and one day with whatever age that God has made him. Eligible to do what he was asked to do. Naming the people, get married, live in the creation, and produce children. That was the age. Whatever God gave in the age, that's fine. Did you get me here until now? So now from here we move on. When Moses came of age, he began to understand that there is another life that I need to be living. There's a dual life that he was coming along. One was with his his adopted mother, in the palace, and the other life that God was beginning to connect him to. This is what I call encounter with God. Before we talk about being an example, being a light that shines, There are different ways people shine. You know what a cat eyes is? We all know. What is a cat eye? On the road, it only reflects when there is a light on it. Radium, does it? It does not. It retains, when the lights go, it comes alive. There's a different dynamism that works in a radium. In a cat eye, it's a different one. In a lighthouse, it's a different one. But all that we need is a lantern. Not that when lights go up, and radium does not show you the way. Hello, my dear friends. It only makes you know I am here. I am a Christian. He comes alive only when there is a Christmas and a star comes up. People will know only that he is a Christian when carols people come. Only when a Christian marriage. This is very important. Sometimes it's a reflector. It doesn't glow anytime. There is a dynamism that must work towards making it. And even your laptop, what is that? What do you call that one? LED? LED screen? Does it show you pathway? It only glows. It shows a lot of pictures. Talks a lot. Shows a lot. But does not show you a pathway. You cannot use it as a torch. You cannot use it as a lamp. It only illuminates for itself. Self-illuminating, but it does not give you luminity. That's what we are. So from this to that, what are we, where are we, and what is God expecting us to be and where? Unless we understand that we have a dual life, one into the world and one unto Christ, this is not wrong, this is not wrong. We have a dual life. I cannot live as if I'm just a monk here. Though I'm married, I have a son, I cannot be taking care of their needs. No, I cannot be doing that. It is a relationship that I need to be maintaining here on the earth and also with Christ. But the condition is, one fine day, one of you come to my house and I'm cleaning my Harley Davidson. It's got a lot of color and power and a lot of excitement about it. And he says, Anna, can we go on a ride? I says, oh, I'm sorry, there is no engine in this. So when I try to make everything about my life, but there is no engine in it, the centerpiece is lost. Did you get me? So we need to be doing both, but which is more important? The engine needs to be in condition or the colors need to be updated? And the stickering and the polishing. This is an internal piece that needs to be taken care of, and that is what is the spirit internal one. There is an external one and the internal one. And when one overtakes the other, that's when a jeopardy takes place and we have lost the purpose of our existence. And that's where we are. Can you open your Bibles to Luke chapter 14. May I ask you a question? If your father and your mother have not married each other, if your father and your mother have not married each other, would you have been born? The boy in the green t-shirt, what's your name? Ashish knows it. I didn't get a single nod from the adults, but Ashish gave me a simple straight question. I want to tell you. God, I would have been born if my mother and my father, if they have not been married. Because they did not plan me. In some cases, they didn't even know that we were coming. And if they knew, they didn't know whether it was a boy or a girl back in India until the day you were born. So how do you think that their choice made our existence? No. Even before they were married, even before the creation, even before they were born, God had me in my mind. By whatever name, X, Y, Z. Did you understand? So you are precious to God. We have come from the mind of God We've come with the image of God, and we have come with the Spirit of God, and then we go back to that from where we came. There is a Hindi saying that goes back in India. जिंदगी है 2 दिन का, एक दिन आने का, दूसरा दिन जाने का, इस बीच में रखा है क्या? Now we talk about we came from God and we're going back to God, and what are we living here for? What is that so much of grandeur about the vehicle without the engine? I tell you, my friends, we have beautified our lives. Nothing wrong. But the internal of it, if that is lost, we have jeopardized our life. And that's where we need to be getting back to. Open your Bibles to 11th chapter, 24th verse of Luke.
So John's message is left and Jesus began to speak.
No, I one. 1 John. One second. Is it Luke 14, brother?
Yeah, Luke 14:24.
Yeah, 24. Can you read?
Yeah, it says, I tell you, not one of those men who are invited will get place of meeting.
Yeah, 25 and 26.
Large crowds of travelers with he turned and spoke to him and said, anyone who comes to me must hate his father and mother. He must hate his wife and children.
Yeah,
He must hate his brothers and sisters.
that's fine. Brother, that's fine. Now, what was happening with Moses was, see, it's not that he was growing twice, but the Jewish scholars take a cue on that and they go on building a concept about that we have 2 lives and that we need to be building on those 2 lives. One is into the world, one is unto Christ. And here Jesus talks about a crucial point where he says, unless somebody who wants to follow me hates whatever, your parents, brothers, sisters. Now you think Jesus was saying hate? Jesus being known for love, and he's coming about talking to his people who wants to follow him to hate. The word in Greek that's given there is not hate actually. If you go back to the Greek language of the context and the text, it is the word misho. Misho simply means love less. Did you see the contrast? So he's not talking about not loving my mom. That means hate is too far a word. That means I hate her, I don't look at her, I don't talk to her. No, it is not that. After having been born to them, after having given my birth to my son, how do I hate him? The direct translation of that word means simply love less. Now in this, Moses was growing up with his family in the palace, and he was also growing with his people. There are 2 dynamics that are merging into one, building us to know he slowly began to love these people less. Not that he did not have love for them, because he had to be grateful to them. He has to be thankful to them. Do you know why God did not allow Moses to touch the waters of Nile when he had to turn the waters into blood? God did not let him because he was taken from the river Nile. He made Aaron and continued to make Aaron to touch the waters. Beginning from the Nile, he did not let him touch because he had to be a life of gratitude, a life of thanks. To that, I'll come to that next. Now he's talking about here, growing up twice, Moses was living unto something better and finally into the best. But before that, he had to love less somebody, some things, some people before he got caught up with the purpose of God. I want you to have that kind of experience this afternoon time. Did you have a second encounter, a third encounter, a fourth encounter, a continuous encounter with God? Actually, my friends, one-time encounter does not work. Respect Rabin when he was assassinated, the Prime Minister of Israel, one of the most powerful persons in the world. You know what? The killer, a young man, an 18-year-old guy, shot him to death, and he was interviewed. He just told that this man just came out of the bulletproof and I shot him. Can you imagine somebody tracking him so closely that somebody of that stature comes out of the bulletproof and is shot in seconds? Actually, my friends, our life is more precious to God than what was to Israel, the man who was assassinated. Our life is more precious to God. And we have come with a purpose, and that purpose has to be fulfilled. And for that, we need to get connected here and not here. The purpose of a vehicle is to drive, not to have colorful stickers and polished and looking great. That is secondary. The centerpiece is this, and that's where we need to get connected. And I'm talking about an encounter that you should have, that I should have to go on in life, and it's not a matter of one-time event. I want to close in the next 5 to 7 minutes, but I want to leave with you this thought. That we have been singing this song, "This is the day the Lord has made." Is there anybody other than Telugu here? Everybody is Telugu? No, you are not Telugu. Malayalam? Tamil, okay. For a simple convenience sake, to explain to you further, I'll just deviate into Telugu and explain.
I can understand to a certain
Wonderful,
extent.
okay, wonderful. Now, can you sing that song, "This is the day the Lord has made"? Did you? This is the day the Lord has made, we will rejoice. Number 2, can you sing it in Telugu? Chesinadi. Now listen, stop there. Now it says God made. In English it is made. This is the day the Lord has made. And in Telugu it is Chesinadi. But if you see 118th Psalm, it is not Chesinadi. It is Erpachinadi. This is the day the Lord has made. And the meaning in Telugu is not, we are singing wrong. Chesinadi is not there. They translate directly from made. The word is there. Ide dinam Prabhu Erpachinadi is the original text in your Telugu Bibles, in my Telugu Bible. So brother, that is it. So, if the word is Erpachinadi, whatever I do that. So, Chesinadi is made, correct? But the word is Erpachinadi, that means it is arranged, prepared. You know what? The word in Hebrew is appointed. Now, can you see the difference between made and appointed? Made is just that somebody made some food, and if you want to come, you have it. But if it is made, prepared for me, I better go. And don't get the ire of the hostess who made it for me. But the word appointed, in the Hebrew, the depth of it I'll explain to you. Say for example, Bill Gates wants to meet me in Hyderabad, and I'm in Pune or whatever, I'm not in Hyderabad, and he's coming only for one day to meet me for a big project that he wants to shift Microsoft into India. No chance. He wants to go to Canada if Trump comes in. Okay, whatever. So, if he's coming from such a distance, traveling 24 hours, and I'm not in Hyderabad, and he says, "Sunny, I'm going to come only for you and meet you near a restaurant near the airport, not in the airport. Come, let's meet there, and after that I am back to the States." Now, how much preparation would I make if he's such a big man? I'm just a small MCA guy, fresher, and he wants to do it all with me. I tell you, my friends, I'll make heaven and earth get moved on my way. If possible, I'll go and stay the night before there only. Probably there may be a road jam or traffic jam. Did you get me? That is the intensity of the word appoint in Hebrew in Psalm 118, where the verse is written, this is the day the Lord has made. The word made in English, but in Hebrew it is a deeper word, appointed. And I tell you, my friends, this is the day God made for him and for me to accomplish together some purpose. How much time does he get? The 24 hours by 7. I tell you, my friends, this is the reason why God has implanted in the mind of a Jew to give one day in a week. He knew that he would not give. They talk about 24 by 7. Where did 24 by 7 come from? It's the corporate communication. This is a corporate coining. It's with God, it is 24 by 6. One day is His. And in a day it's not 24 by 7. I'm available 24 by 7. God's timetable is, brother, I don't know whether you're able to see or not. It is 8 plus 8 plus 8. This is your work, this is your sleep, this is your whatever. That is the breakup. And we begin to change the rules of nature and make it 24. It's not 24 in the first place. I can give only 8 hours. If I'm working for some company, I give only 8 hours. To whom do I give it 24 by 7? The first place, 24 hours, 24 itself is a purpose. Over and above that, 7. You know what? Why the 7 came? If you read the Bible in the first chapter of Matthew, don't open it. It says from Abraham to David, it was 14 generations. From Abraham to David, 14 generations. From David to Babylon, it's a Abraham to David, 14 generations. David to Babylon, 14 generations. From Babylon to Jesus, it is 14 generations. Abraham is fine, David is fine, Jesus is fine. Where did Babylon come from? You know the reason why Babylon came in? Because the Jewish people lost their Sabbath. If you go to the last chapter of the 2nd Chronicles, verse 34, you'll read it afterwards, that he has taken their Sabbaths into 10. 70 years in Babylon. Between Abraham and David, 14. But from David to Babylon, 14 again. Why did Babylon come among these 3 great men? Jesus, Abraham and David. There should have been somebody else. Why did a nation like Babylon that is going to fall in the Revelation that we are talking about, why did that come? I tell you, my friends, when 7 has been, God said, Sabbath is mine, and we have not given it to him. So this is the pattern that God wants us, and this is what does God get out of us on a day that he has extremely carefully planned 24 hours in a day. He has been waiting for us for an appointment. I tell you, my friends, unless we encounter God in the beginning of the day, that day does not go to him. I tell you, my friends, take it written from him. If you have not committed to him, he will not keep it. Back in India, we keep the vehicles in a railway station, in an airport, in a bus stand, take a token, come back. After 4 days, you pay him, he gives you back the vehicle. You give him the coupon. What you commit, only he gives. Is not a God greater than that? That we expect him to keep what we commit. I just want to close with a story. A quick one. And the story is about a man who stands in a London city next to a restaurant and will be waiting at around 9:30 in the night. A cop comes by at 9:45 and tells, sir, this is night time, sir. People should be leaving by 10. So you're in the wrong place, wrong time, sir. Can you move? He says, sir, I'll tell you a story. He says that 20 years back, my friend and myself, we both decided that we'll meet here. I went to New York, He stayed back here. He's a faithful guy, sir. He'll come back. And we met and we wanted to meet here after 20 years. And we decided that if he had died, he would not come. And if I would not come here, he should understand that I died. The cop says, "You think your son, your friend would come?" So he's a very faithful, honest guy. So right from our childhood days, he was so honest a guy he was. And so he would come. In fact, I was kind of a naughty guy, so, but I can expect him if he's alive. So while talking, this man lights a cigar, lights a match, and lights his cigar. And the light of the cigar, this man sees that he's got gold all over his fingers, and a couple of bracelets and gold hanging here, and the bracelet on the band of his hat also was glittering, and a golden watch, a golden stopwatch. He says, "Sir, I think you're a rich man." He says, "Yeah, I'm in New York, made big money, and I'm here to meet my friend." After 10 minutes, his friend comes. His name is Bob. His friend comes, Bob Wells, and they both meet. And as they walk, the guy who came from New York says, "Hey Bob, looks like you have grown tall." He says, "Yeah, I put on some height and I also used some heels." And as they come closer to a restaurant, he says, "Bob, you're not the Bob that I know of. You're a different guy." He said, "Yeah, I'm sorry." He takes out a piece of paper, hands it over to him. This guy says, and he reads it, it says, "You're under arrest." This man is shocked. He says, "What is this?" "Yes, sir, your friend Bob came exactly at 9:45 to meet you at 10 o'clock. But in the light of this match that you lit to light your cigar, he sensed that you are the most wanted criminal in the country. He came as a friend, but he couldn't sit with you like a friend, and he could not arrest you because he was your friend. He didn't want to misuse the context and the situation. He sent me to arrest you, sir. You are the most wanted criminal." 20 years back, they were fine. 20 years later, the man was exactly at the right place, at the right person, at the right place, at the right time, with the right person. Did you get me? Right place, right time, right person. But wrong conditions. I wish somebody showed me 20 years back, Sunny, how you would be and what you would be after 20 years. Probably I would have made some changes in my decision. Probably I would have made different choices and made different whatever. I'm glad where I am, but I'm telling you, honestly with all my heart, I'm not supposed to be where I am. I should have been somewhere else. But for a few decisions. 20 years later, I don't know, my friends. We are fine today. 20 years later, I do not know. I just want you to close your eyes. Each day is a day of extreme encounter with God. Mark my words, my friend. Extreme encounter. Every day is what God is expecting, that we may impact our nation, impact the nations, impact the people all around us. Walking in the light, shining in the darkness, bringing out God's word, I'm telling you, my friends, is not an easy business. The next session is going to rip us off. It's going to be intense, my friends. But are we prepared for an encounter with God? He's waiting. It's not as easy as we can say. It's so much more deep, my friends. It's so much more deep to stand with Him. But before that, He's expecting an encounter. An encounter that Moses had that changed his life, that he brought a nation out of a nation. In Egypt, Pharaoh is God. But before Moses left, Pharaoh called Moses and said, "Bless me and go." And for Moses to bless Pharaoh, Pharaoh had to bow his head. That is the extremity of our blessing, our impact, our influence on the nations of our travel, in the nations of our living, among the people that we are existing. But I tell you, my friends, there is a cost that God is asking, that we enter into a relationship, an experience with Him, but before that, an encounter. Can you just ask God to speak to you? Lord, am I prepared to walk with you? Not for the next session, my friends, but for what God is inviting us into. Father, we ask you, Lord, in Jesus' precious name, show us, Lord, the other side of you that we have not seen. The other side, Lord, that Moses saw at Mount Sinai. The other side of you, Lord, that Moses saw at Midian. Lord, teach us, Lord, to be people who care to hear your voice. In the precious name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.